Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 6 just confirmed it. The alternate dimension is Earth X, where Germany won World War II and has led to a not so perfect dimension. But that's only the beginning, because on top of the reveal, there's 7 massive questions that change how we see every character, relationship, and even what's coming next for the universe. Welcome to The Real Spot. I'm Bobby Foster. Let's dive in. Let's start with the biggest question of all. How is Adebayo gonna survive? She's currently running away from a mob, and if she doesn't get help quick, it's not looking good for her. But based on the trailer we see for next week, she escapes the mob and enters into the Pocket universe. So what I think is going to happen is she's going to run into Adrian. We also see him in the trailer with Adebayo in the house, and he's just shooting up people in the house. So what I think happened is once Adrian found out about the Sons of Liberty from his doppelganger, he ran out of his house and ran straight back to Chris's house because he knew he was going to have to save people. So he probably runs into Adebayo on the way home and helps her out of that situation. But here's the thing, I don't want Adebayo to be saved. That's right, I want her to save herself. I need her to whoop some ass next episode. She needs to get her revenge on this mob. She needs to put that neighborhood in their place. And I hope she gets that opportunity, especially getting back at Keith. Because what do you mean one got out? Like, where are all the people of color in this universe? When Keith said one got out, a black, I immediately thought, what did he mean one got out? Are they in jail? In camps? Worse? Where are they? And is it in all of the US or just in their town? But here's the bigger picture here. I know there's only 2 episodes left, but I hope in some form or fashion they're able to help out all these people of color that are somewhere trapped. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but just knowing that they're all trapped somewhere is sick. I'm sure if they leave without helping, that's not going to sit right with Adebayo. But they all might think, not our universe, not our problem. They may just want to go home and shut the portal. It'll be interesting to see how all the characters act to the fact that there's no people of color around. It'll be very telling to who they are as people, especially Chris. It shouldn't be a hard decision for him to see that his family in this universe are villains. And we've already seen him willing to off his dad. But is he going to be able to confront Keith? And honestly, will Keith even survive? The reason I ask this question is because a lot of people are thinking that Chris is going to have to kill his brother Keith all over again. But I think something totally different and more diabolical is going to happen. I think it's going to be Harcourt that has to kill him because of the irony there. Harcourt has had to forgive Chris for killing Rick Flag Jr., someone she loved. So if Harcourt kills Keith, then Chris would have to forgive Harcourt for killing someone he loves. And I think that's a much more interesting dynamic because we already saw Chris go through the grief of his brother dying throughout the whole first season. So this would introduce something new. And in this episode, he said he would love Harcourt no matter what.
You just keep talking around it.
Chris, I'm a fucking nightmare!
I don't care.
What I do is I go and I get in bar fights.
I know.
Just so I can fucking feel something.
And I still love you.
But if she kills Keith, will he still love her? I don't know. But what do you think? Do you think it'll be more dramatic for Harcourt to kill Keith or for Chris to have to kill Keith again? Leave your thoughts below. And if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and like and subscribe so more videos like this will show up on your feed. And also when it comes to Chris and Harcourt, I have an interesting theory as to why Chris 2 and Harcourt 2 never worked out. So the question here is, why was Chris 2 cheating on Harcourt 2? Remember Harcourt 2 said to Chris that he would have to commit in order for her to want to be in the relationship again because he was stepping out on her before. What if she was alluding to the fact that he would have to decide that he wanted to be with just women and not men? Let me explain. So in this episode, when Adrian goes to his alternate dimension house, he laughs and talks about how his dad isn't gay in this universe.
My dad's not gay here.
But the fact is, his dad probably is still gay, but in a Nazi universe, he wouldn't be able to be open about it. So if we apply that to Chris, knowing that he's bi, I wonder if he was stepping outside of the relationship with Harcourt 2 to be with other men. And there's more to this theory too. Remember, Adebayo also made a joke that Rick Flag Jr. loved Chris in the alternate dimension because she had a misunderstanding of what Chris was saying. Well, what if she was right? And what if that's why Rick Flag Jr. was acting so odd around Chris, because maybe they hooked up before, but they're not allowed to show it. I feel like I'm on to something here, but y'all let me know what you think about that theory in the comments. Also, if you love talking about Peacemaker but feel like you have no one to talk to about it, go ahead and join the Real Spot Discord. We love talking about shows and movies in there and would love to have you be a part of the conversation. And here's another thing. When it comes to the doppelgangers being different, it raises this question: why is Adrian so similar to his doppelganger? Everybody else is so different from their alternate version except for Adrian, and that's odd to me. Like, is that just for laughs, or is there something important there within the narrative? I think it has to be somewhat important because they spent multiple scenes explicitly just showing us how similar they are. I saw a James Gunn interview where he was talking about how he never really wants Vigilante Adrian to change. He wants him to be a constant while everyone else is changing around him. And so maybe that's why he wanted his alternate version to also be the same, to remain being that constant. But I'm curious as to why he doesn't want Adrian to change. I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be something really important about how similar Adrian is to his doppelganger. I think it'll definitely get revealed next episode. And I know that's a small detail, but small details just matter, right? And talking about small details, what was up with that opening scene? Why did the picture distort and melt? I've seen a couple theories floating around. I've seen people think that it's foreshadowing Brainiac because Brainiac is supposed to be the villain in Man of Tomorrow, which this show leads into, but I'm not exactly sure how it foreshadows Brainiac. I'm not familiar with Brainiac, but if you know more about it and you think there's some credibility to that theory, let me know in the comments. Personally, I think it was foreshadowing the end of the episode, just showing that this universe is not the best universe and is distorted. But if it is foreshadowing something bigger, that would be really cool, because I'm a big fan of subtle foreshadowing, and that would fit the bill. If you think it's foreshadowing, let me know what you think it's leading up to. But in bringing up Brainiac as a villain, let's stay on villains here. I have got to ask, what's Lex Luthor's plan? Not only his plan, Rick Flag Sr.'s plan. Because it does turn out that he doesn't just want blind revenge on Peacemaker, and that he actually needs him for some reason. And it's not just to find the gate, because when he was with Lex, he was asking about the portal and Peacemaker. I wonder why he needs both. Why does he need Peacemaker and the gate? But when it comes to Lex Luthor, I know that he's playing Rick Flag Sr. in this scene.
Why don't you just start with your final offer and not waste either of our times? You won't be able to outmaneuver me in negotiations, General.
Yes, he's desperate, but at the same time, he's a genius and a master manipulator, and I just know when Rick Flag Sr. walked out and they said they were teaming up with Lex Luthor, that went just how Lex Luthor was planning it. And the part of the conversation between them they didn't show, Lex Luthor and him must have put a deal together, and I know Lex Luthor would not take a deal unless he had a plan on how to get out of jail. We know that this show moves directly into Man of Tomorrow, and we know that Man of Tomorrow is a Lex Luthor and Superman film. So I think the plan is going to happen in episode 7 and 8, and it's then going to be some cliffhanger of how Lex Luthor is going to be a main character in Man of Tomorrow. And those are the 7 big questions that this episode left for us. And through exploring them, I'm hoping that we could appreciate and understand this episode even more. And discussing these questions and theories is fun, but now it's your turn. What questions and theories do you have about this episode? Leave them below, or if you want to talk about them even more, leave them in the Real Spot Discord. Until next week's episode, I'll see y'all.